So I tell every lady, listen, man, this is what I want up front. You gotta be safe, sweet, skilled, smart, and what? Very sexual. As soon as I put the word sexual in there, it's like, oh my gosh, all you want is sex. You know what? This is what I say. That's not all I want, but daggone it, I want it. Because one lady told me, she said, hey, listen, you're not getting sex. I said, great, cool, great, no problem. I said, so don't ask me for any money.
And this is a Christian guy saying that.
To give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm with my marriage.
Are they pretending on social media and they're doing something else in real life? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Funke and let's talk Christian dating. Christian dating, my experience in the dating scene. Let's start with the good. I feel like every relationship that I've been in, I've always learned something good that I've used in my life, like a skill or like, just a principle that has been good. So I will say that for my experience. And I've only ever dated Christian guys. In my mind, before I went into dating, it was just like, okay, I'm saved now, I'm a Christian, I know God. If I can just find a guy who's saved, who loves God like me, it should be good, right? Because our minds are the same, like we're equally yoked, right? So it should work out. But maybe my experiences have been a test and my testimony is coming. But yeah, so I really wanted to talk about some of the things that I've seen in Christian dating, which is, kind of different from what I expected it to be and what I've seen portrayed basically on social media. And what I mean by that is, whenever like a lot of times I see a lot of Christian content on my feed, and sometimes it's a guy talking about, how he's staying sexually pure for the woman that he wants to marry.
Just say a little prayer, get your money, man. Life goes on.
Yes, I am hopeful for today.
Or like I seen an interview where a guy was telling another guy to rate a girl from 1 to 10. He was saying he doesn't objectify women, that she's not an object, so he wouldn't rate her. I seen another one where a guy was also talking about like how he's keeping himself for the woman he wants to marry.
I didn't know if it was like a special room or you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm with my
Mario, I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so great. But how come I'm not seeing these guys? Like the guys that I'm seeing, totally opposite from, what I'm seeing on social media. And that's what's leaving me confused. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Are these guys, are they pretending on social media and they're doing something else in real life? Or is it just like, it's just the ones that I'm meeting? I'm sure that there are good guys out there. Like, I've seen testimonies of like women talking about how their husband like preserved their purity before marriage. Like I know Heather Lindsay is one of the examples, and I've seen a few more like maybe not as known people that talk about how they honored God and the man was leading it. But that has not been my experience. Like the men do not lead sexual purity for me, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
But generally, I feel like as a Christian who's saved, going into the dating scene, I had a lot of expectations of the kind of guys that I will be meeting. And I guess maybe I feel like I don't have a lot of, what's the word? Like I don't have a lot of requirements. Like I don't have like, he has to be rich, he has to be making this certain amount of money or things like that. But I feel like general expectations of what you would expect from a Christian, a Bible-believing Christian, are not the things that I saw, like in my experience with the guys that I've dated. And I'll tell you, like I've dated guys that preach the gospel. Like when I mean preach on the streets. I mean, if there was somebody like maybe you preach the gospel on the streets in Nigeria. Like I remember back in Nigeria, we used to go out for evangelism. Like I used to go out with my parents, my sister. It was like everybody did it. So maybe some of the things that I was seeing, if I'd seen it in a guy that preaches the gospel in Nigeria, I'll be like, okay, that's normal. You know, in Nigeria, basically, everybody goes to church. We don't really trust everybody that goes to church or that goes to preach the gospel. It's like, you know, there's wolves among sheep. That's normal, right? Which would also apply in a place like Canada. But for some reason, I thought, oh, if somebody preaches the gospel in Canada, like he preaches the gospel on the streets, and of course they're always persecuted, like somebody comes and kicks down their speakers or hits them, they usually get assaulted, that person is really living for God, right? That person is dedicated. And I thought, okay, that means that person is following God in every area of their life. I found out that's not the case, actually. Like, just because somebody's living for God this way in public, they might be doing something else in private that does not honor God. So basically, my experience with Christian dating, like dating Christian guys, have kind of been an eye-opener for me. And because I went in with a lot of expectations. If they're Christians, that means that, you know, they're following what the Bible said on purity, they're following what the Bible said on being truthful, faithfulness, things like that. But I didn't see that. So I was a bit disappointed with what I saw with the Christian men. I remember seeing this video by a guy named Anthony Neal, and I didn't really know this guy before then, but it was like a panel. There were men there. I recognized some of them as Christians. They were Christian influencers, right? And then it was mentioned that this Anthony Neal is also a Christian. The first time I saw this video with this panel, I mean, I was really annoyed with some of the things that this guy was saying, like saying things like, you know, he mentioned things that he wants in a girl. He mentioned saved and sexual.
I tell every lady, listen, man, this is what I want up front. You got to be saved, sweet, skilled, smart, and what? Very sexual.
I'm like, those are very almost opposite things, because how do you know a girl is sexual before marriage, right? You say she has to be sexual. Like, how do you test that she's sexual? And he also said that whenever he tells girls, like, his expectations, they think that all he wants is sex. And he said, yes, I do want it.
As soon as I put the word sexual in there, it's like, oh my gosh, all you want is sex. The first word I said was saved. The second word, I didn't even say sex first. I said, you got to be sweet. And the only thing we talk about is all he want is sex. And you know what? This is what I say. That's not all I want, but daggone it, I want it.
And this is a Christian guy saying that. And I remember when I first saw this, I was so mad. Like, I even commented on the post. Like, I was like, because I felt like, you know, maybe some new believer might be watching this and thinking, oh yeah, this is fine since this guy's a Christian influencers and they're saying this. Or maybe somebody else, like a young Christian who's probably looking up to these influencers will see this and think that this is true. But then now thinking back on my experience that I've had with Christian guys, I do feel like I would have preferred seeing something like what Anthony O'Neill did here.
Ladies value provision. Men value. We're gonna go there. We want good sex.
Did here. He's basically telling you that he wants sex. Like, he's very open with it, right? And my experience with guys is like they usually pretend. They don't. So first of all, let me just give like a background here. So usually after like a couple of days, I usually bring up the sexual purity issue, talk about, okay, I want to wait until marriage for sex. And usually they're usually quiet, it's like they don't really say anything, but after a while they agree, or maybe they agree right away, like different people, different experiences. But the point is, they never tell me that they want to have sex before marriage. Like, I've never had that experience with somebody that said, you know, if you're saying that you don't want to have sex before marriage, then I'm out of here. Like, I mean, maybe some people have had that experience where, like, once you tell a guy, once you tell guys, they back off. For me, they never really back off. They usually agree, but they never raise it, right? They're never the ones that raise it first and say. But they usually agree whenever I bring it up. Now, here's the difference I'm talking about. They do agree with me, but not really. They agree with me to my face, but at the back of their mind, they're thinking that they're gonna change my mind, or they're gonna convince me otherwise, or they're gonna deceive me into doing it. And I say this because I've seen different things, right? Somebody telling me to come meet them at the hotel, share a room together, share a room in a hotel. Even when I said I would pay for my own room, still insisted that we stay together in the same hotel. Just different things, like different ways that they would try to convince me, or they would try to deceive me into temptation, basically. And then when I compare it to Anthony O'Neill,
Because one lady told me, she said, hey, listen, you're not getting sex. I said, great, cool, great, no problem. I said, so don't ask me for any money.
I feel like this guy is being real here. He's telling you, as a girl, potential girlfriend, like, this is what I want. So it's either you want the same thing, or you don't want it and you leave. And I feel like that's better than what I'm seeing. Like, if you are a person in the dating scene and you have requirements, like, don't try to bring somebody that does not fit the requirements and want to try and make them fit that requirement, if that makes sense. I do feel like there's a lot of hiding of real intentions in my experience. There's a lot of pretending, and maybe some kind of a double life where people are living a life that they're showing to people, and the life that they are living in private is different. And when you date someone, you kind of see into the private life a little bit, and then you see that the life that you were seeing being portrayed to you is different. I just feel like people should be more honest, especially as Christians, because that's what we're called to do, right? We're called to tell the truth, not lie, and not to deceive our neighbors. Yeah, so I guess this is like a challenge to people, like, just be your true self. I don't feel like you need to be someone else just because you want to get somebody. If you are not your true self because you want to get somebody, then you'll never be your true self. Or when you finally live out your true self, that person is gonna leave. So why even bother like lying or deceiving people? But anyways, guys, that's all I had. Just wanted to come on here and just rant a bit. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.
What shall I render? Tell me, what can I offer to you? How can I say that I'm grateful? Oh, yeah.